Alright, what's going on, guys? Today is May 5th. I'm going to be going over today's price action in the one trade that I took today. Today, I unfortunately took a loss. I was brutally manipulated by the market today before price ended up running to my full TP. But, it happens. We move on. I like the setup. I followed all my rules, and that's all you can ask for. So, not mad about the day at all. Um, Today was pretty trash price action, to be honest, and that's the only kind of critique I have on today is that maybe I should have just stayed out of the markets. The first hour and a half, hour 15 minutes of price action today, or sorry, 45 minutes of price action today for New York Open was just absolutely awful. So, you know, probably could have stayed out of the market today, but I don't hate the setup I took at all. So, let's just go ahead and start off on the higher time frame. So, overnight, we got the move that we kind of wanted to see. So, the draw on liquidity was pretty much taken out for the day coming into the day. Overnight, I definitely wanted to see this hourly get inversed, right, to prove that we were going to go to all-time highs here. But I definitely didn't expect us to rip all the way through all-time highs. So that was the first kind of sign today that it might not be great. We have no draws on liquidity above or anything like that. So, but we are at all-time highs, so I'm not going to be shorting in this market. So that was kind of the first sign today that it might be a little bit interesting. And then that was on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour today coming into the market, I wanted to see price manipulate lower, possibly into these hourly gaps down here. I didn't really want to see price come all the way down here, but this hourly gap looked like a pretty good price spot for price to come reverse into and then give us a long position back to the upside, right? So something like this. But I wasn't counting on that completely. I also was open to the opportunity or the idea that maybe price came down into this 15 minute, swept out this low inside this 15 minute, rejected out of this area right here, and delivered us to the upside, sponsored our move. We also had this low inside this 15 minute. I wasn't really looking for price to come take out this low, but if it did, I wanted to see us come into this hourly. Wasn't really looking for this low due to the fact that it was protected, right? It's already a low that swept out another low, inside a fair value gap, so very high resistance there. So really was just playing this 15 minute as my conditions today and wanted to see how we displaced out of that. So going on to the 5 minute here, the 1 minute here. So off open, I really want to see us manipulate lower and sponsor our move to the upside. But price ends up opening higher. We get this weird kind of manipulation candle that really doesn't manipulate into anything. We leave this 15 minute alone, and we end up just pushing higher. So at this point here, I'm kind of expecting, since we had no manipulation off open, I'm kind of expecting today to be one of those days where we get just something like this, right? We get just a move up, slight retracement, move up, slight retracement, move up, slight retracement, move up, slight retracement, right? And that's kind of exactly what happened today. So that's really what I expected. I called that out at about 9:48, I think, is when I said that in Discord. I was like, all right, this is kind of what I'm expecting today. Just not really too many entries. Just slowly trickle to the upside. So that's kind of what I was expecting, and that's really exactly what happened. Up until this point, I mean, there's no entries here. No 5 minute retracements, nothing. At this point, we do get a slight 5 minute retracement here. And I can't remember if this was the entry that I ended up. No, I don't know. This is not the entry I ended up taking. But you do get a slight 5 minute retracement here. Just to me, this wasn't obvious. I would like to see a way deeper retracement. And then also at the same time, I remember exactly why I faded this trade. So mechanically, it looked good, but we had PMI coming out at 10 a.m., right? So right here, we have PMI coming out. It's also 10 a.m., good point for reversals. So we get a new 4-hour candle, new hourly candle, new 15-minute candle, all of that. So I saw this 5-minute long. Let me go back to NQ. Saw this 5-minute long, definitely decided to fade it though. There was no SMT below us. I can't remember. I think there was no SMT below us. The inversion looked okay. Pretty V-shaped recovery out of the 5-minute. But the fact that news was about to drop and it was 10 a.m., I decided to fade this trade. I just thought it wasn't high probability, right? I thought there was a very, very high chance that PMI, manipulated lower, and then 10 a.m. also manipulated lower to give us a deeper retrace into this 15-minute range that we left, right? So that's exactly what I was looking for there. So faded this first setup, which saved me from a loss, right? PMI hit, we manipulate lower. We get no entries out of that 15-minute. Price just continues to trend along, kind of accumulate at this area up here. We were SMT'd at this high. And at this point, I just want to see a deeper retracement into this 15-minute. If I'm going to go long, I want to see deeper retracement into this 15-minute. And that's exactly what we got, right? So I used my fib, marked out the discount of the range here, and just waited to see some sort of manipulation to the downside, which is exactly what we got, right? We manipulate into the discount of this range. We have 15-minute sponsorship. We're SMT'd with, I'm pretty sure it was this low. I can't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure it was this low, though. We're SMT'd, excuse me, SMT'd with this low, right? Discount of the range. 15-minute fair value gap sponsoring our move to the upside, and we get a 1-minute inversion. At this point, ES also looks incredibly bullish. I forgot to mention, but ES was not at all-time highs. We still had, several draws above us, right? Lots of session highs above us, lots of just random 15-minute intermediate highs above us. So ES was looking very bullish at this time, so I was open to taking this position right here. And you get the 1-minute close, but the highest time frame here was going to be a 2-minute gap, and you get the 2-minute gap as well inside. You just get the 2-minute gap close as well. Sorry. So 1-minute gap close, 2-minute gap close. That was our highest time frame. We had no 3-minute gap. Again, delivering from discount of the range. SMT at this low. 15-minute fair value gap to sponsor our move to the upside. ES still had multiple targets to go to the upside here, and so I was clearly bullish, right? The bias is clearly bullish. We got the retracement that we needed, and so I really like this setup for sure. And so I entered in a long position. Right here, I actually ended up getting filled a little bit lower, like somewhere right here, but, just for the sake of it, we'll go with this. I had my stop somewhere around here, and take profit was up at this high, right? So this is the trade that I was looking for. I was going to take it break even at this 1-minute internal high. So I was going to go break even right here. And so this is what my trade setup ended up looking like. I thought this was pretty high probability. I really like the setup here, and then immediately we just get manipulated. I think that this was some sort of data candle. I was trying to look for Trump tweets or anything. It doesn't look like there's much, but the manipulation from this data candle, this candle just seemed, definitely like it was a Trump tweet or something like that. So, sadly, it got manipulated terribly, right? And price does end up coming into this 5-minute here. So, I guess you can kind of mark out this, right? And price does end up retracing back into the 0.5 of this wick, but the 5-minute candle hadn't closed yet. It's not like we opened up a new 5-minute candle here, so I didn't really want to treat this as a rejection block. I didn't feel the need to put my stops all the way down at the swing low. I just thought we were probably going to rip from here, right? Probably just going to rip higher. So I did not feel the need to put my stops at that rejection wick. I wasn't even treating it like a rejection wick, right? We didn't open up a new 5-minute. Sorry, let me go back. If we did open up a new 5-minute candle, right? If this closed like this, and then we open up a new 5-minute candle, then perhaps I would have had my stops, right here, right? Sorry. Perhaps I would have had my stops like somewhere right here below the, CE of this wick, but that's just not what happened. We didn't open up a new rejection candle or a new 5-minute candle. So I was not treating this as a rejection block. And I, just got completely manipulated before price ends up running to my full TP. And maybe you took this CISD entry right here. If you did, this wouldn't have been a bad play. I just didn't really like the RR on it. We already swept out break-even point. But if you did take something like this, right, maybe you went CISD entry. I don't know where I would have put my stops. Probably like, I really don't know. Maybe like just, I have no idea where I would have put my stops. But somewhere for a 1-to-1, that would have played out. So I guess if you took that, not a bad trade. But this is the trade that I took, and just ended up getting, brutally manipulated. And then price ends up running to my full TP and actually pushes up higher from there, right? So, just unfortunate, just part of the game though. You get rid of this CISD. Yeah, so just part of the game there. I really like the trade. I like all the confluences. I think everything aligned. I like the trade idea, and obviously the trade idea was proven to be correct after we ran to full TP. Just a little premature on the longs here. This had to have been some sort of data candle, something. I don't know. Either way, I got manipulated. Price wanted to trend down into this wick right here and use that to, push ourselves higher. So, just a little unfortunate today, but, not mad at all. Followed my rules, followed my system. I ended up sizing down on this position, actually, just due to, all of this price action that we had from open. Right, ended up sizing down on this position, so avoided a major loss, and just part of the game. So sometimes your system comes with losses. Every winning system comes with losses, and I think today was just one of those days, right? Maybe I could have sat out in the markets due to this price action today, and save me from this loss. But I really did like the setup. I like how everything aligned, and I don't regret taking the setup at all. So yeah, just a little bit unfortunate, but that's just how the game goes. So took a loss today. We still got the rest of the week going. Um, as far as news for the rest of this week, right? Today we had PMI, which I definitely wanted to wait for and trade afterwards, which I did. Tomorrow we've got 17 non-farm employment change, 7:15 a.m. So gonna be trading tomorrow. Thursday unemployment claim 7:30. Gonna be trading then, and then Friday definitely gonna be trading. Right, high impact news in the morning. Definitely gonna be a volatile day Friday. So we've got a lot of opportunities left in the market this week. So this one loss, doesn't hurt us at all. This is one loss in, this is one trade in a collection of hundreds. So, don't care at all. Gonna go out, touch some grass, go to the gym, and yeah, that's just how it goes. So that is the one trade that I took today. That was today's price action. Hopefully you guys either stayed out of the markets or found a way to navigate yourself to a green day. Either way, your main goal is just protect your capital, which hopefully everyone did. So yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I'll be back for another backtesting session later on, and then continuing to trade throughout the rest of the week. So that's going to be it. I will see you guys later.